Hi, this is LaToya McBean, USA immigration attorney at the law office of LaToya McBean. Wow, we have had quite the week in the world of immigration. First, you need to understand that the president has the power to do what he has done. Okay, the president's executive power is at its zenith at the border. When it comes on to national security, the president has broad powers to do the things that he has done this past week. So that's the first thing you need to understand. Now, the executive orders have created a lot of confusion. There's hysteria, there's a lot of fear, and there's just people are genuinely concerned about who we are as a country, what our core values are, and certainly where in the world are we headed. And so let's talk a little bit about what's in these executive orders and what they actually mean for you. The first thing that we saw coming out of these executive orders is that the president still intends on building a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. We also saw that the Department of Homeland Security plans on adding 5,000 additional border agents and 10,000 additional immigration officers. And so essentially what this means is that they're adding capacity so that they can continue to enforce the laws and continue to crack down on those who they intend on cracking down on. We also saw that the government is ending the practice of detaining people at the border temporarily and then releasing them on U.S. soil, people who are here on the basis of asylum. They are claiming that they've been persecuted back home or they fear a future persecution back home. And so we will now turn those people away, including children who appear at the border unaccompanied. We also saw that we will cut off, these are threats, that the federal government will cut off federal funding to cities that do not cooperate with respect to immigration enforcement practices. Now, this is my biggest concern, the definition of criminal aliens under the executive order. So the definition of criminal aliens is incredibly broad. It includes, of course, people who are convicted of any criminal offense, people who are charged with any criminal offense, people who have committed willful or people who have engaged in fraud or willful misrepresentation in connection with a document or an application before the U.S. government. So essentially, we're talking about document fraud here. People who have abused their receipt of a public benefit, people who have not committed any crimes, but who the immigration officer in his best judgment thinks poses a national security or a public safety risk. So this is concerning because this gives the immigration officer broad discretion to determine who should be deported on the basis of, the fact that they pose a security risk to our country, even though they have not committed any crime. Very, very concerning. Okay, then we also heard or saw from the executive orders that there's going to be more data sharing, arrest data and fingerprint data sharing among local authorities and federal immigration agencies. Okay, now on Friday, our president signed close to 5 p.m. on Friday, significant executive order that has created protests at airports in various cities. Okay, and here's the reason why. The executive order essentially bans the entry of refugees coming from anywhere. Okay, so let me take this in order and let's just dissect this a bit. So the first thing that it does is we stop issuing visas for 90 days to people who are coming from Iraq, Syria, Iran, Sudan, Somalia, Yemen, and Libya. Okay, so this is a 90-day ban as it relates to visa issuance. So the problem with this, as we saw on Saturday, is that there has been a misapplication of the law, whereby people who are from these countries who have green cards, they were detained at the airport. And in some cases, they were trying to deport these people. And so the ACLU filed a lawsuit, a successful injunction, temporary injunction, on Saturday that would prevent the deportation of these people. And so they were successful in at least this aspect of the executive order, this misapplication of the executive order. However, there is still a ban on Syrian refugees indefinitely. There's also still a ban on everyone else, non-Syrian refugees, for 4 months because the U.S. government is suspending the State Department's Refugee Assistance Program. And so once the program is back up, we will prioritize people based on religious persecution. And we will admit 50,000 people rather than 110,000 people, which is the bar that had been set under the Obama administration. We will also implement new screening protocols. We will also suspend the visa interview waiver program. And so these are the biggest points from these executive orders. And they mean something. They were swift. And we are feeling the impact of these orders already. And it's only Sunday. Okay, so the point is, get information, pay close attention to what's being said in the news, do your reading, do your homework, stay close to me on Facebook. I will try my best to update you as quickly as I can and as the information comes to me and comes to everyone else. As you know, things are unfolding almost on a daily basis, and there's still a lot of uncertainty. There's still a lot of chaos at the airport. Information is not trickling down from DC in a way that really makes sense at the airport. And so we're still standing with some people who are still being detained or being deported. Things are still very chaotic. So we will keep a close watch on what's going on. Thank you for watching this video and stay tuned for more information.